Welcome back to Finance House, where we dive into the stories where money, power, and history collide in the shadows. Today, we're going back to 1978 to a freezing December night at New York's JFK Airport. This isn't just a story about a robbery, it's a lesson in greed, a case study in how a fortune can be made and lost in a flash, and how the pursuit of easy money can lead to utter destruction. This is the story of the Lufthansa Heist. Picture this: JFK Airport, one of the busiest hubs in the world. Deep within its sprawling complex lies the Lufthansa cargo terminal, a fortress designed to hold millions of dollars in untraceable cash and priceless jewels being flown in from West Germany. For one crew of mobsters, this vault wasn't a fortress. It was a piggy bank waiting to be cracked. They had a plan, an inside man, and a thirst for a score that would set them up for life. They were about to pull off the largest cash robbery in American history. The mastermind behind this audacious plan was a man named Jimmy the Gent Burke, a ruthless associate of the Lucchese crime family. Burke wasn't a made man due to his Irish heritage, but he commanded fear and respect in equal measure. He was known for his charm and his chilling capacity for violence. For years, he'd been orchestrating smaller heists at JFK, treating the airport like his own personal ATM. But this time, he was thinking bigger, much bigger. The key to the entire operation was an inside man, a Lufthansa cargo agent named Louis Werner. Werner was drowning in gambling debts, owing money to a bookie connected to Burke. To clear his slate, he offered up the ultimate prize, the secrets of the Lufthansa vault. He provided blueprints, security schedules, and the crucial detail that a massive, untraceable cash shipment arrived once a month. With this information, Burke began assembling his crew. He brought in a team of specialists, each with a role to play. There was Tommy Two-Gun Desimone, a notoriously volatile and violent enforcer. There was Angelo Sipe, another feared killer, and a handful of others, all loyal, all experienced, and all hungry for a piece of the pie. The plan was a model of criminal efficiency. It was designed to be quiet, precise, and over in minutes. No gunfire, no alarms, no witnesses left to talk. It was supposed to be the perfect crime. Just before 3 a.m. on December 11th, 1978, a black Ford Econoline van pulled up to the cargo terminal. The crew, wearing ski masks, cut the lock on the gate and entered the building. Using the information from Werner, they knew exactly where to go and who to grab. They rounded up the handful of overnight employees, holding them at gunpoint. They knew their names, their families' names, a chilling tactic to ensure cooperation. They forced a manager to open the first vault door and then the second. And there it was. Stacks and stacks of cash, packed in bags along with boxes of jewels. The total haul was staggering. $5 million in untraceable American currency and nearly $1 million in jewelry. In today's money, that's over $25 million. The crew loaded everything into the van, warned the employees not to call the police for at least 15 minutes, and vanished into the night. It took them just 64 minutes. When the FBI arrived, they found nothing. No fingerprints, no real clues, just a handful of terrified employees and an empty vault. The news hit the city like a thunderclap. The scale was unprecedented. It was the stuff of movie legend, a real-life Ocean's 11 carried out by the New York mob. For Jimmy Burke and his crew, it was a moment of triumph. They had pulled off the impossible. They were rich beyond their wildest dreams. The plan had worked perfectly, or so it seemed. This is where the story of a brilliant heist ends and the story of greed, paranoia, and self-destruction begins. The first rule of a heist like this is to lay low. Don't draw attention. Don't spend the money. But that's easier said than done when you're sitting on millions. The first mistake came almost immediately. One of the crew members, a man named Parnell Stacks Edwards, was tasked with getting rid of the getaway van. Instead of taking it to a compactor in New Jersey as instructed, he got high, parked it in a no-parking zone, and went to his girlfriend's apartment. The police found it 2 days later. Inside, they found a muddy boot print that would later be matched to one of the suspects. The perfect crime was already starting to unravel. Jimmy Burke became consumed by paranoia. He saw loose ends everywhere. Stacks Edwards was the first to go. Burke ordered him killed, fearing he would talk if caught. A few days later, Stacks was dead. And that was just the beginning. Burke believed that the crew's lavish spending would attract the attention of the FBI. Anyone who seemed like a liability, anyone who might talk, became a target. The body count started to rise. The man who helped plan the jewelry fence, the wig maker who provided disguises, and one by one, the members of the heist crew itself. They were hunted down and murdered, not by the FBI, but by their own boss. Burke was cleaning house, erasing every link back to himself. Angelo Sepe, who bought a flashy new Cadillac and a fur coat for his wife, was found shot to death. The mob was eating its own. The millions they stole became a curse, painting a target on the back of anyone who touched it. This is the grim reality behind the glamour of movies like Goodfellas, which immortalized this story. The character Jimmy Conway, played by Robert De Niro, was based on Jimmy Burke. The film captured the allure of the lifestyle, but the real story is a darker, more tragic tale of how money laundering and violence formed the bedrock of the criminal economy. The stolen cash wasn't just spent on cars and coats. It was funneled into loan sharking operations, illegal gambling rings, and narcotics trafficking, fueling the mob's empire. It was a bloody investment in organized crime. So what happened to the money? The vast majority of the $6 million was never recovered. It disappeared into the intricate financial underworld of the mob, washed clean through 1,000 different channels. And what about the mastermind, Jimmy Burke? He was never convicted for the heist or the murders directly related to it. The wall of silence built with bullets was too strong. However, his criminal career eventually caught up with him. He was convicted in 1982 for his involvement in the Boston College point shaving scandal, another scheme where sports, money, and crime intersected. He was later convicted of a separate murder and died in prison in 1996 from cancer. The Lufthansa Heist remains a powerful lesson in finance, risk, and human nature. It demonstrates how a system, whether it's a high-security airport vault or the complex world of global finance, is only as strong as its weakest human link. Louis Werner's gambling debt was the key that unlocked a fortune. But more importantly, it reveals the corrosive nature of greed. The desire for more money, more power, more security, is what ultimately destroyed the very men who achieved the score of a lifetime. The treasure they stole brought them nothing but death and betrayal. They flew too close to the sun, and the heat didn't just melt their wings, it incinerated them. The story serves as a stark reminder from the shadows of finance. True wealth is never built on a foundation of violence and fear. The cost of that kind of money is always too high. Thank you for joining us at Finance House. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the world where money and power make history. We'll see you in the next one.